Hey everyone, Gamer Edie here, GameHounds podcast. We've got Nick. We have no goalie this
Oh,
week. Um, sorry, he's still sick. Man, I don't know. Does he have like the coronavirus or something?
oh shit. Maybe he's closer to China. No, we're closer to China
No,
than he
we're
is.
way
Yeah.
closer to China than he is. Um, yeah. So he's still sick. Hopefully, he will be back next week. Nick, where were
I mean,
you?
he did go to China the last
No, he
couple
didn't.
month ago or so, right? He
No,
did.
he didn't.
He was
No,
did going on an adventure there.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Did he? Did he? Or did? Oh, see, what was I going to ask you?
You're asking where I was? I was in the
Where were
shower.
you? Oh, okay. Because I was calling and
Yeah, I
calling.
saw that. I come
And
out of the shower and I see like 7 missed texts and 5 missed calls or something.
yep,
6 missed calls. Like Jesus.
blew up your phone.
Damn.
Well, because last time I did not call you because I figured, oh, you must be in the shower or something, and you had slept through your phone,
Yeah. But then
through your alarm. So
when
then
you
I
called, when you called, I immediately picked up.
Right, but I mean, I've had Kevin sleep through his phone, his alarms, and then I try to call him, and he sleeps through his phone calling too. If you're gonna sleep through your alarm, you might just sleep through the ring of your phone. So,
Hmm,
just saying.
possible.
That's what I assumed. I assumed that had happened. So you know what? I know Goalie loves to have. By the way, move your cat cam.
No.
I know that Goalie loves to have the widescreen because he likes to show off all his stuff, but Goalie ain't here, and I'm not crazy about showing all my stuff.
I'm just gonna stay like this.
Okay, but please don't.
It's actually trying to get it right down the middle of my nose is kind of tough.
No, don't do that. Just put it
No,
right.
you got it. You got to put your head on it too.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Let's
A
see.
little
Can
bit
I?
closer.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. There we go. That's a.
Disturbing look.
Okay.
All right. So, podcast. Anybody in the chat room yet? Ooh, we've got somebody in the chat room. We got Creation Chaos who's here. Thank you. So, and AC Wraith, of course, our Link Mitch, who is so fabulous at what he does. Really, truly, AC Wraith, thank you. Um, so I was up until 4 a.m., which is why I'm holding on to this cup of coffee for dear life.
Doing what?
Cup of coffee. I was playing a game till 4 a.m.
Okay.
I have
So it's good.
played this game till 4 a.m. and it is a computer game. And I played this game till between anywhere between 2:30 and 5:30 a.m. all week for the last, I
Is
would
it
say,
that
5 days, 6 days.
life game that you were showing last week?
No. I actually tried a couple of games that came off of that Gray Still Plays. Um, I'll talk about it on the show. But I played several games and then I hit this one
Oh, okay.
and it ate my life. It truly ate my life. Um AC Ray says kill it with fire.
The weird creature that we made.
Oh, that, yes.
Yeah.
He says, Chaos says it's perfect, but then Chaos is kind of a bit twisted. A Warframe marathon about time. No, it was not Warframe. Oh, all of a sudden, my side of my nose started hurting. This is the nostril where I
The
got
mere
the.
mention of Warframe punched you in the nose.
Yeah, it made my nose start to ache. Ever since, remember, I told you I got that, that branch up my nose?
Yeah.
Ever since then, it's like every once in a while, it just aches. It's just like somebody is punching it from the inside. I don't want to start the show without it. And because it's a video game show, I can't, because it's a video based show, I can't just stick my finger up my nose and make it stop hurting. All right. You ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 530. That's it's quitting time. GameHounds
Yeah, let's
episode
get out of here.
episode 530. We're overachievers. We're staying late. Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. We do not have a Holy Goalie once again this week. He is still sick. No, he does not have the Shenhuan coronavirus, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Corona. At first I thought it was like coronavirus. Like I was surprised. Is it like the beer? And it actually is like the beer.
It
Yes.
is like the beer. It's a coronavirus.
Yeah.
And crazily enough, all right, couple things about this virus that is literally taking over the news. That has nothing to do with video games, and yet I'm gonna make it about video games.
I saw
I
that I actually saw a bunch of Plague Inc.
I did
in
it. That's what I did.
in news stories, in
Oh,
CNN, in
I did it.
CNN
I
mentioning.
played it.
Oh, you played
Absolutely.
it.
I
Okay.
did it. I was thinking to myself, how long is it going to take us for the like, I'm once I got to virus, I started having a bit more of a challenge doing Plague Inc. So I sat down one evening and I pulled up Plague Inc. and I'm like, let's start a coronavirus, see what happens. So I kept all the symptoms exactly the same. I let it be zoonotic, meaning that it transferred between animals and humans.
Mhm.
And I did nothing except at the very end, I started adding, horrible things to it because why not? And let me get to the photo. God dang it. And I've played Plague Inc. before, and it's always been a little bit challenging. For me, once bacteria I got so that I could just do it in my sleep. Viruses got a little more challenging for me because I would run out of points pretty easily because I was trying to unevolve them because they would spontaneously evolve. I started, and I always started is in India, as we all know, as veteran Plague Inc. players. This time I started it in China, approximately the location of Wuhan, which is where the real coronavirus has come for. Let me pull up my photo if you can see it.
Oh, that's a pretty big
Dead
spike.
in just under 500 days. Just over 500 days. 560 days. Everyone dead.
Mm.
It was the easiest time I ever had playing the game.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't do anything. I literally banked it up until it got 99 points, and then I started spending a couple of points just to get it under 99. And I didn't do
So
anything.
were you spending to make it more infectious, or how did it spread?
I made it infectious by coughing
Okay, yeah,
and
that's a good way.
sneezing, which is what this thing is. Made it infectious. In fact, I didn't even make it infectious through bodily fluids, but I could have because apparently that's one of the things it does. And I
Mm.
made it transmissible in air I made it transmissible by rats because of the fact that it is a disease that they say started at fish market that
In
where
a
they would,
bat.
yeah, either bat or snake. So, but that wasn't an
Okay,
option,
I
so I
heard
made
bat.
rat and bird.
Okay.
So I just had rat, bird, sneezing, and coughing, and I added some resistances for bacteria, like genetic resistances.
Hmm. What about
That was
lethality?
it. Huh?
Did you do anything to lethality?
I did
Or
not.
was this the kind of disease that doesn't kill people, and so it spreads to everyone, and
I
then at the last second you're like 100% lethality, and it's just like, well, now everyone's infected, so it's like an immediate
right.
wipeout.
I added nothing to lethality. I let it evolve itself until the very
Hmm.
end when it was like clear when I was running out of things to purchase with my dollars and I made things reasonable like pneumonia. Well, we know this thing does pneumonia. So I gave it pneumonia.
Hmm. Okay.
And it developed a rash, it developed something else, it developed a couple of other things that were actually not very off, and then when it ran out of kind of benign stuff to evolve itself, it just evolved wildly and I just let it go. I wasn't going to stop it from being what it was. But yeah, Plague Inc., I used it and killed everybody off in 560 days.
Excuse me. Um, yeah, the news story I saw was the developer saying like, "Don't get your news from us. Get your news from like the official CDC resources.
CDC.
Don't use the game as like a first account resource of like
Yeah,
what the
it's true.
what it will do."
I just ran it just to
But I also
see.
saw that like it was on sale on Steam. Um,
Of course it was.
Which I don't know if this was like a joke by Steam or a joke by them or something, because it was
No.
the Lunar New Year sale, the
Yeah,
Chinese New Year
it
sale.
is Chinese New Year.
Yes, but
Which
Plague Inc. isn't a game normally related to that until you take the
right,
coronavirus into account. So I don't know
right.
if that was them being cheeky or not.
And in fact, this is a kind of a big thing is that everyone is on vacation right now and not at work. And um they're saying that this could be way worse, could have been way worse had it not happened during the Lunar New Year. Cuz China shuts down for a month. As someone who worked in the drone industry trying to buy drone parts from China, yeah, you ordered, if you don't have your order in by about January 10th tops, then you're not getting it until March or April
Hmm.
because the country shuts down for a month for the Lunar New Year, which would be nice. Would be great. But and everybody goes on month-long vacations, and that's how they sustain their what's the word tourist economy.
Hmm.
Is because it's all domestic. It's mostly domestic tourism. The international tourism doesn't play as big a part because people have a month off. And if this had not hit during when everybody was away or at home, instead of and it hit while everyone is at work in offices,
Hmm.
that it could have infected at least 4 times as many people as it
Yeah,
already
that makes
has.
sense.
I'm guessing. So, that is
Well,
number one on my hit parade.
okay, I was gonna say, keeping with the theme,
Yeah.
uh, I actually haven't played many games. Like I played a little bit of Death Stranding, but not much at all. Um, because I got more obsessed with this one book than I have in a while.
Really?
It's called The Troop by Nick Cutter, and I'd read something from him before, which was good, but kind of had an ending that fizzled out and went like in a kind of took a left turn at the very last 10 pages. Um, but the troop is about this sort of group of Boy Scouts sort of doing an outing on an island with their scoutmaster, just getting some merit badges. And this man comes up to the island on a boat, running away from something, and he's sick. And for 500 pages, the disease slowly spreads among the troop. And it's it is a I don't want to say train wreck, but like not in a bad way. Like the writing is very good. What's funny is he's very very descriptive, like super detailed in saying what's going on, but he does it so matter of factly and so straightforward that like he'll start describing being eaten from the inside out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, he just spent 3 pages describing the slow decay of a kid. Oh fuck. So because in the beginning it's like, oh okay, there's only like 6 characters total, and it's like, well, how are you gonna drag this out for 500 pages? And that's how he's very detailed, but
So the disease is its own character.
no.
I mean, in a sense, in that you're really tracking it, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But it's like it's a fast read, um, but just the way that it spreads and the slow escalation of things going wrong and going bad, uh, it's like a train wreck that you can't look away from. Like just seeing everything go wrong is I have to keep reading to see like what happens next, what goes next, who gets infected next, how are they going to deal with this? Like oh shit, and it's
And how prescient that you'd be
it's
reading that right now.
which is funny because it's
What kind of a disease is it? Is it a hemorrhagic fever or?
uh I'm not sure if I want to say because I guess it wouldn't be a spoiler because they say pretty easily it's a worm.
Oh, okay. It's a parasite.
Yeah, it's a parasite.
Okay.
Think tapeworm.
All right.
Um,
There's some
but
pretty awesome ones. There is some pretty horrible worms out there.
they got nothing.
Yeah, I know.
They got
Probably.
nothing on this thing because it's fiction. He's
Right.
making it up more, but like it's hard for me to say that it's a gory book because, like I said, he describes things so straightforward and matter of factly that it's not until you're kind of deep into a description that you realize, oh Jesus, I'm there's like blood running down his face like a curtain, and oh my god, he's literally cutting himself open. It's like,
What's
holy shit,
the name of the book?
the troop.
The Troop. Okay.
Yes. Uh,
I will, because I'm about to finish up my most recent book. So
so yeah, I didn't expect to get into that as much as I did, but yeah, once things start going bad, it's all downhill and it's hard to get off that boulder. So yeah, The Troop by Nick Cutter, really good. That's what I spent most of my week doing. I had times when I thought I should be playing Death Stranding, or at night I'm like I want to play Ring Fit, like I want to do this, but I'm also like, shit, I need to get to the next chapter. I got to see what happens next. So now that that's finally out of the way, now that I've survived the troop, I can actually get back to playing games.
So we have just to give credit in the chat room. We have Creation Chaos. Hello, Creation Chaos. How are you? We have AC Wraith who is in here. We have a name I haven't seen in a really long time. David Lloyd Johnson. Hey, you haven't listened to GameHounds in a while. Job changes and limited internet, the new gig. But glad you're here. Welcome back.
We're doing well, thank you.
Yeah. Um, and I'm sure more people are going to be coming in later. In the Spreaker chat, we got AC Wraiths right now. So I'm waiting for Eric Cotton to show up. I think it was Eric. No, it wasn't Eric Cotton. Was it Eric Cotton? Can't remember. No, it wasn't Eric Cotton. who's it that
Who?
listens on somebody. A couple people come into the chat, the Spreaker chat, and I will pay more attention to you. I promise. Um, so this week, I, as I mentioned last week, I became completely obsessed with this YouTube channel called Gray Still Plays. And he's essentially, he's really funny, but he's one of those people that he's a bad person. I mean, he's a good person, but he does bad things. He buys games to break them.
Okay.
Um, I don't. Did I ever show you what the channel looks? You know, some mention some of the topics that he had
I
from.
think I know you showed us a video of him playing that life sim game where you get to evolve creatures.
Right. Yeah. Let me pull it up on the screen. Um, Screen share, and I am Chrome tabbing, and Gray still plays. Yes. So this is his YouTube channel, and he does things like I grew and harvested $100 bills in Farming Simulator. I cut down 10,000 foot trees in Farming Simulator. This roller coaster is longer than the planet.
Mm.
30,000 people attended to stop a roller coaster in Planet Coaster, where he creates a roller coaster that hits something like 7 or 8. No, I forget how fast it goes. But he runs it into 30,000 people, trying to
Oh,
get as many
jeez.
people, and then runs it into them.
I'm actually really curious to see that.
Um,
Takes 11 years to ride this coaster.
right.
Some of
I
those
gave
look pretty good.
in this one game that's Power in Revolution, I think it's called. I gave the entire country the Ebola virus. I gave the
Hmm.
world crippling debt. I gave every country unlimited nukes. I overpopulated the earth with 171 billion people. um I built a he just essentially loves a simulator. I build the largest slum in the world in city skylines. He essentially creates um goes to uses sims and then does terrible things to people, um and tries to uh, kill the world repeatedly, um and does things reprehensibly, but also in a way to try to wreck his graphics card as well. I made 1,000 holes or black holes orbit the Earth, and it's just really, really funny. So because of him, I have been venturing out into some Sims that I normally wouldn't have played. And one of the things I did play, and also there was another channel as well that I've been been watching, that is a comedy channel, that's they've been playing a couple of games that seem really, really interesting as well, and I bought a couple of them.
Okay, hang on. I
uh
gotta go investigate a mysterious crash.
okay, go
Pets.
ahead. Oh, pet crash. All right, not a car crash. um And one of them, most recently, I have been watching is recently purchased, and I can't remember the name. It's a terrible name, but it is a survival game where you're put onto a planet, and this is where I need Nick, and I'll probably have to rely upon you guys, where you have to you're essentially in a plane crash, and you land on a plane, on a deserted island, and it turns out there's zombies all over the deserted island. And it is here's Nick back. He will be able to tell me.
Okay, all good.
So your there we go. This is what I'm looking for. There is a game that is on PS4, Here it is. It's called The Forest. That's it. I
I've heard of that.
purchased The Forest, and I played it in single player, and it's pretty fun. But man, it's freaking hard as single player. It is a game that is meant to be played multiplayer, and I really like it. In fact, Chaos, if you're still listening, I will totally play this game with you. Um, it is a survival horror game, and it's I guess it's survival horror. You're on a plane crash, and your plane crashes on a deserted island, and you are the only survivor, and you have nothing on you except the stuff that you can scavenge from the plane crash initially, and you have to build fire. Oh, and you do have a Bic lighter, which is unlimited, and you find an axe, and that's it. And you have to essentially survive. And it would be, it is challenging. I actually turned off the zombies because it was impossible to play as a single player with the zombies. Certainly wasn't a nice not relaxing, but
That's what I know
challenging
about it. Is
survival game.
like a survival game with zombies that
Yeah,
come out at night.
at night the zombies come out, and there is a deeper story in there,
Hmm.
and they're not to be fucked with. Uh, they're not so bad if you've got multiple players, but as a single player, you die almost instantly, because if you don't light a fire, you freeze. But if you do light a fire, all the zombies come, and
Um,
it's not easy to. It's not got very good fight mechanics. So
can you like build the tent and put the fire inside it so that they can't see it from
no,
outside?
you cannot.
Oh,
No. So I started playing that. That looked interesting. And then because of Grace Still Plays, I started picking up some sim games, and I picked up Anno 1800,
hmm.
the Ubisoft game. And I've been playing it on Kevin got a new laptop. Well, when he bought his CNC machine, it came with a very high-end HP touchscreen laptop. And I said, all right, the payback for buying the CNC machine is you give me that laptop. And he's like, okay, no problem. So he gave me the laptop, and I freaking love that laptop. So much better than the shitty little cheap $250 laptop I had. Oh my God. So much better. And it's strong enough because it is a beast. I mean, it used their $1,200 to even now today. So I went on to Ubisoft, and I bought it, and I downloaded it, and I have been playing it obsessively. And that's what I was playing until 4 o'clock in the morning last night.
Anno, the
Anno,
city builder,
it is a city.
not the modern one.
Not the modern one.
Okay,
Anno 1800, which is like, it's essentially like Civilization.
okay. I thought it was more like SimCity or City Skyline.
It's a bit like City Skyline. If you took City Skyline and Civilization,
Hmm.
and you limited the how much you could get things up to Civilization, it's actually more like City
Hmm.
Skyline. With it, City Skyline doesn't have people that are around the world that are trying to conspire
Yeah,
against you, and you don't have to worry about
I
diplomacy.
guess. Yeah. Civilization, but locked to a time period, kind of.
Civilization locked to a time period,
But I
but
guess is
and a city builder like SimCity
okay.
or
So
City
it's
Skyline.
so there is that city building aspect to it, unlike Civ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely, you have
so
to do
like you're
roads
building a
and
city and then zooming out and dealing with.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes,
actually pretty cool.
yeah. And I have had to start over a couple of times. It is kind of not a very intuitive. I mean, it is an intuitive game to a certain extent, but to actually win at it, it is very challenging to get it to do what you want. Um, and the it's the diplomacy adds such a freaking layer to this thing
Hmm. Doesn't
because
it always?
it's not so much the diplomacy that's the issue. It's that the people that are you will get into an alliance with um sometimes will draw you into a war. I've done that where it's like somebody offers me alliance. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, that'd be great. I'm in the alliance, la 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 la, and all of a sudden you're just teetering on your economy is just about to start to make money and you're like you just need to get a little I've got to get this thing going just a little bit more, and then all of a sudden your ally comes in and goes, "Oh my God, I've started a war. I'm sorry. You need to help me." And there's no way out of it. If you're in an alliance with him and he starts the war, then you're at war. And he'll start a war with the economic and military powerhouse of the entire game, who's almost
Can
impossible
you
to catch up with.
can you cancel that alliance and just be like, nope, I'm
No!
out?
No, I have tried to,
Oh,
and I actually played a game where the most of the game I was dealing it being, and of course he makes up with her, but she never makes up with us, and you never
oh,
have,
really?
oh, and she'll just, it makes the game freaking impossible. So I don't
So
make
you can't
alliances with
like,
anybody.
huh? Have you looked at the mod scene? I'm sure there's probably a mod about that.
I'm
'Cause
sure
if it's
there's a
on
mod.
Steam, I know that mods are a lot easier to get and install and all that.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
that seems, yeah, that seems weird to not be able to break an alliance.
You can break an alliance, but if you've broken an alliance after they've started war with you, you remain at war with the person that started it.
And you can't like ask for peace.
You can, but the not everything you do is you're going to have a chance for it. It says what your chances are when you do something, and the likelihood is usually zero unless you create enough of a reputation with that person. But the thing is that in order for that person to even talk to you, you have to start giving them money. Lots of money, because the
Mm,
more powerful that person is, the more they will demand money from you.
Jupiter is going under my desk, crawling up the back and into one of the drawers because I've got drawers on the side of it that go in, but the way the desk is constructed, like it's hollow, so he can get inside that drawer from the bottom of the desk.
Uh-huh.
He goes under and then jumps up into the hollow insides into the back of the drawer. Jupiter.
Mhm. So anyway, Anno 1800, good game. And it's nice also because once you've there's a campaign. The campaign is pretty darn cool. Not gonna lie. Uh, it is it's a story about you coming back home to your ancestral island, and your father is dead and your uncle has killed him.
Oh
Um,
geez, that's some Hamlet shit.
yeah, your father was the mayor, was the ruler of the kingdom, and your uncle has essentially imprisoned him, and shortly afterwards he commits suicide in prison. And now your uncle Edvard has taken over your ancestral lands, and you're trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And you've got a sister that is working with you. And it involves a couple of different things. One is your evil Uncle Hot. There's his tail. I can see his tail going by.
Yeah.
Um, One is the evil Uncle Edvard. There is also a prison island, and the guy that runs the prison is an asshole, and he's in on it too. But he's not evil. He's just,
Like opportunistic.
yeah. You end up trading a lot with him because he was one of the few people at the beginning of the game who will trade with you and give you good prices for soap and potatoes. The two things you really need in a prison, soap and potatoes. So he's actually ends up being kind of useful to you. But then there's also uh, this other group of people called the Pyrorians, who are like a religious cult that's into fire. And it turns out they're behind everything that happened with your father. And they want to own everything and burn everything to the ground and let fire purge the sins
So
from
it's
the
like a
world.
doomsday cult.
It's a bit of a doomsday cult, at least it seems like.
Jeez. Did
And
not expect the story to go in that direction.
and there's two lands. You start out in the old world, and eventually the story leads you to the new world, which is like the Caribbean. So
Huh,
you
that's
can
cool.
sail between the two. You set up trade routes between the two, to be able to, because there's some things that you need in the old world, but you can't to keep people happy to progress your city, but you can't get all of the components for it, or it can't sometimes even be made. Well, it can be made, but you can't get the components for it except in the new world. Like, for example, you start off making farmers. You evolve the farmers to workers. You evolve the workers to artisans. You evolve the artisans to engineers. And artisans, you can't evolve them until they're happy. And artisans require to be happy rum. But you can't make rum in the old world. You got to make rum in the new
Huh.
world. So you can't evolve them until you go and you get a sugarcane plantation in the new world and make rum. And then you've got to create jornaleros, which are workers over in the new world, and obreros, which are jornaleros are farmers, obreros are workers. I haven't forgotten engineers in the new world yet. And they all have needs, but they're different. And in some cases, they're needs that can only be fulfilled in the old world, like sewing machines, or at least it would be way more convenient to ship sewing machines over, since you got to ship rum back.
Yeah,
So you
trade.
create trade routes.
Huh.
And it becomes very involved, and I'm hitting towards the end of the campaign, and then after the campaign it goes to sandbox, and I'm getting ready to be going to that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very compelling game, and the nicest thing about it is that after 2 hours the voices, it's all fully voiced. There's a voice that comes in who constantly gives you updates, like, one of your ships has been attacked. You have a fire in one of your civilization, or one of your islands. And then after 2 hours, it says, you've been playing for 2 hours. Why don't you get up and have a cup of coffee? You've been playing for 6 hours. Maybe it's time to take a break. You've been playing for 10 hours. You know there's no time play achievement in this game, don't you? And then once I got it, you've been playing for 12 hours. You need to walk away from this game.
It actually says that?
Mm-hmm. You need to
Wow.
stop.
Also, how the fuck do you play for 12 hours straight? That boggles my mind.
Because when I get into these things, it's pretty obsessive. Also, I mean, I
Hmm.
get up and go make dinner or do other stuff, so I'll sometimes take a break in the
No,
between
just leave it running.
Yeah, well, or put it on pause. You can't leave it running.
Oh,
If you leave shit running, shit goes bad.
that's right. It's a sim game.
It is a sim game. It is a sim game with fucking diplomacy,
No, you can't just leave the kids alone.
which means that you could walk away and be back and you're at war with somebody. But I'm nearing the gameplay end, and then it's just going to be sandbox mode, which is going to be way more casual. And of course, I started hitting the
Cool.
end of it. So, Anno 1800, really good game. surprisingly good considering that its reviews are, in the sixes,
Hmm.
or sorry, in the sevens and eights. I think it's
That's
way
still
better than sevens
really
or
good.
eights. I know, but still,
7 and 8 is on the positive side.
it's all the things I love about Sims, about like sim city building games,
Hmm.
like City Skyline, all of the fun of that, and also the thing that makes civilization as good as compelling as it is and competitive as it is you're playing against an AI and having you worry about diplomacy and war and trade and economy and competition with other rulers of other islands in the area, pirates, dealing with pirates, um, going on expeditions to try and get anything from saving pirates, rescuing hostages, to going out and getting a zoological expedition to try and get animals to populate your zoo, or archaeological expeditions to go get stuff to put in your museum, which increases the tourism in your area, on your island. It's a kind of cool. So yeah,
Cool.
I highly recommend Anno 1800 if you love SimCity and you love Civilization. This is a really good game.
Does it make you want to get some of the other Anno games and play a futuristic version?
Sort of. I really like the time as it is. It's a bit of the
Hmm.
era of the Industrial Revolution. So there's a steampunk element to it. And it, right at the time when you're going from an agrarian society to an industrial society and introducing things like um, electricity and the challenge of putting electricity into an agrarian society, like starting it over. And I was thinking, oh, it's electricity. It shouldn't they're not going to make rolling out electricity very hard, are they? Yes, yes, they are. They're going to make it very fucking hard to put in electricity. It's going
I
to be
imagine
exactly
so.
as
Like
hard as you imagined.
if you can't just put up power lines, because
No, you
yeah,
gotta
those don't exist.
no, you gotta drill oil. You gotta drill oil wells. Then you gotta get oil. Then you got to create a railroad to take the oil. You can't run it on roads. You've got to
Huh.
take the oil via railroad, which means that if you've already built out your society, and you had to have built out your society to many square miles of, and at a certain point trying to stick things certain places and getting it all kind of stuck together, and organize things in such a way, and it's things that have gotten, you start out with the best of intentions and things get a little bit janky.
And
And
so
of course the
now when you try to put a railroad in, it's like trying to extend BART.
Right. Exactly. But you can't extend BART because you can't drill through all of the mountains, because you have tons of mountains, and you have to work around all of um um this topography that you can't get around. There's just no, you can't like change it or reduce it. There is no editor, elevation editor, or you can't add
Yeah,
stuff or
yeah.
yeah. No, you're stuck with what you're stuck with. And it is yeah, when I saw you need me to build a railroad to the harbor, motherfucker. Motherfucker. So then you have to look at another island where you have an oil well that is right near it. So you essentially create, this is my oil island. You've got another island that's like, oh, where you started, everybody wants, the workers want beer to be happy, but you can't grow hops on your island. So you have to go find another island that allows the cultivation of hops, and then make that the hops
Each island
island.
has its specialty. That kind
Exactly.
of makes sense. Yeah. Not gonna go grow wheat on the oil island.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing, is that if you have wheat on a wheat island and it's got oil wells, you run oil wells on your
Hmm.
wheat island.
You're just
but
like it's
not everything can grow not all islands can most all islands can grow a group of things,
something.
but not all islands can grow all things.
Yeah,
In fact,
that makes sense.
no island grows all things. So you have to so then you've got to create this other little city. Now you got to work at creating shipping all of the materials over to this other island to start this little teeny tiny colony and keeping everybody there happy. And meanwhile, you got people trying to freaking declare war on you. It's terrible. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really liking it. I dig Anno 1800 and would be playing it right now if it wasn't for this game.
Okay. I actually remember the game that I played over the weekend. Um, we actually started a D&D group. So I've got some of my friends, and Caitlin is the dungeon master. And so on Saturday we got together and just started a campaign of D&D, which was interesting because we're trying to actually work through all the rules, and I'm playing as a fighter, so I've just got like an axe and a bow, which is pretty easy to handle. But the people who were playing spellcasters, it was like, wait a minute, what spells do you actually have? There's a spell slot, then there's prepared spells, then there's like cantrips, and it's like, okay, there's like three different types of spells, and there's three different types of slots. Which type of spells go into which slots? What exactly do I have available to me at this moment?
Mm-hmm.
And that was complicated.
I
We
bet.
spent 3 hours getting through like one fight with four goblins, just working through the rules. But that's kind of to be expected, you know, just
Well, when you're
learning.
starting out, yeah.
Yeah, learning the basics. But yeah, it's really fun. I think we've got a good group, and the characters, like, they were all pre-made. We basically just like Caitlin had a starter pack that came with like character sheets already filled out, and so we just kind of took those. So that made it a lot easier to get into. But you can still build out the character more in your mind and build out the relationships with each other in fun ways. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we're gonna do it again next Saturday and try to make it a regular thing. If not weekly, then you know somewhat regular. Um, but yeah, so D&D, that's what I started playing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're doing it every Saturday?
No. We'll be doing it again this Saturday, but after that, who knows? I mean, we'll try to make it a regular thing, but probably not a weekly thing.
Okay.
It
Good.
also depends on like what Caitlin feels like doing because she's the dungeon master,
Mm-hmm.
but her schedule is such that she works on Saturday and Sunday, and
Mm-hmm.
Monday and Tuesday are her weekends. So she's basically coming back from work and then running a D&D campaign.
Oh God, poor thing.
She asked for it. She literally asked for it. She demanded to be the dungeon master.
That's well, it makes her happy.
Yeah, and
Pleases
actually
her,
she would.
tickles the hell out of me.
It was actually she did a really good job of it. There was a one point that we and I was talking to her afterwards, like when we got in the goblin fight. Uh, Once we had killed three of the four, the last one started to run away, and she was just like, okay, they're gonna kill him if he runs away. But instead, we ended up capturing him, and so we started to question him. And so, kind of like how Matt Mercer does in Critical Role, she was just
Uh-huh.
like, oh, here's a character, and I'm just gonna do a goblin voice and sort of make up this character on the fly. And she did a good job of it. So I think we've got a
Matt Mercer made everything in D&D so much better. He inspired an entire generation of people to be dungeon masters and to see what a really good dungeon master is.
yeah, yeah. And
He
so
he
yeah,
has
I think
changed that game more than any other single entity I would venture to guess in the history
I
of
think
D&D.
what was it? Not Diag, not Dennis Diag. Giggix, Gary Gygax.
Gary Gygax invented it.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it
sure there are
also took
people.
30 years, 40 years for it, well, 30 years for it to get to reach the level of popularity it is
Yeah.
now. And then Matt Mercer came in and took a bunch of, because a lot of, up, most people, most DMs were not good DMs. I mean, there were a lot of really good DMs and they could, in some cases, sell their services. They were so good. But unless you had actually been with a really good DM, you didn't know what a really good DM is.
Hmm.
And now you see it and you've seen campaigns run really, really well. And it's elevated what everybody is shooting for.
What I actually kind of bouncing off that, I would say that one of the best things Critical Role did is just kind of better popularize the like live play show
Mm-hmm.
because one of the other things I listen to, or the Giant Beast Cast, which is a podcast from Giant Bomb, the people that live on the East Coast do it. Um, every year at Christmas, one of them does a kind of live um, tabletop game, and they do a tabletop role playing game, but it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's never been Dungeons and Dragons. It's always been some other like indie type of game. Uh, one year they did something called Fiasco, which is like a heist centric game where players take a character, and then the whole game is you putting yourself into scenes and talking with other people and basically improving your way through a heist movie. And this last year,
That
they
sounds
had a game.
awesome.
I have Fiasco. Like whenever you come, we should try to play that one.
Okay.
Um, but this last year they had one called Anomaly, which is kind of an X Files type show, type game, where all the players don't really play as people. They just kind of take turns group playing has this X Files esque, or not X Files, control, this bureau of
Mm-hmm.
supernatural paranormal investigation. And so you have a deck of cards and you pull the cards each turn to see like what new thing happens. Is there like some new supernatural event? Does something happen to the bureau? And each player adds to that. And so it's sort of like this communal storytelling where each player kind of takes turns adding to it. And those are just some of the games because like you know there are so many indie tabletop card games like that that I think wouldn't necessarily find an audience if not for something like Critical that just popularized the idea of watching someone play a board game.
Right. Yeah. Board games. Who knew that they would become as popular as they are now?
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got real renaissance. And you know what angers me?
Huh.
Over Christmas, when I was visiting my parents, we pulled an old game out of the closet, Back Off Buzzard. Do you know that one?
No, never even heard of
It's
it.
a simple kids game where you have kids that go around a temple, but there's a giant mechanical buzzard on the temple, and every turn you push the button on the top, and it goes and then
Oh.
ducks down. And if one of your characters is in the wrong spot, it'll scoop down, scoop up a character, and then go back up and basically have them in its claws until the
Oh.
next round where it will go back down. And the way the board is constructed, it will like hit something and knock them down, and then you gotta go back to start. And so the
Oh.
whole game is just kind of you trying to get from one point around the board to the end while avoiding this buzzard. But it reminded me one of the games I grew up with as a kid was called Forbidden Bridge, which was fucking awesome because it was an actual big bridge, two sides with a bridge, and you had to cross the bridge, pick up little crystals, and then go back. And the person with the most crystals at the end won. But every time you roll the dice, there was a chance that you would get like, the skull. And when that happens, you push the button and the bridge would shake. And the way it was designed is that the characters, the pieces had little spaces in them, and the bridge had little hooks in it. So if you were in the wrong spot on the bridge, when it shook, your character would fall off, drop the gem into the like alligator infested waters below, but they would hang on because of the hook. So you got a lot of these great dumb moments where it's like, I'm in the set. Oh, I got in the center of the bridge, and has it moved? I survived, and I still got my gem. Oh, but now I'm on the side, and I fell off, but I was able to hang on, but my fucking gem fell, so I got to go get another one, come back. And so then you're like, shit, do I go down into the water and face the alligators to get my gem back? Or do I just go back to get one and risk dropping it again? And so I want to buy it, but the fucking thing is rare. Like
Really?
the
You don't still have the one that you played when
no, I
you were a kid?
don't,
Oh.
unfortunately. But a full edition, like people are selling pieces of it. But a full edition is like $70.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't you know, as soon as we start talking about board games, we got Andrew Smith who's in here.
Yep.
And the other Andrew in my life from the Family Gamers, who they're all about board games. Andrew, hello, good to see you. And pimp your show. Give us a link for your show so people can connect with you. Family Gamers is such a good show. In fact, especially if you have, um, uh,
Excuse
I'm
me.
trying to look it up, especially if you have kids. Andrew has two, I think two. You have two or three. You got kids, and you focus on playing games to play with your children, and it's both you and your wife, and it is such a good show. In fact, I'm trying to pull it up right now. There we go. I'm pulling up the website, and they have a podcast, and it is really, really good. I highly recommend, if you are interested in finding games to play with your family, go to Family Gamers. It is there we go. Thank you. Familygamers.com. That they started it just a couple of years ago, and wildly popular podcast. Congratulations on how big it is. Big you are. So yeah, and they have three. They're called let's see. They're called Kids, and we have three. But yeah, he says it's gonna make you cry. Yes, really, really good podcast, and can't recommend it enough. So if you have space in your life for another podcast, please choose the Family Gamers, um, especially if you want to play stuff with your kids. And let's face it, the what
Yeah.
we were just talking about is a classic one
Oh yeah.
for kids.
Um, AC Wraith mentioned that on Board Game Geek, there are two sellers for Forbidden Bridge. One is 175, the other is 300.
Oh my
That's a little
god!
much. I was looking at eBay, and eBay has it on sale. Like a version that's missing some pieces was 60. The cheapest full version, like I said, was 70, and other people are selling it for like 90 or 100 or around there. But
Wow.
yeah, don't go to Board Game Geek. Not for purchasing it at least.
Yeah. So, anything else that you played before we hit the news?
Uh, no, no, that's it. I would have played more. Dear Reader, like I'm fucking on the last chapter of, um, Transform guy that transforms, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, okay.
Um, but
I'm just trying to think. I'm like,
I completely stopped reading that to read the troop.
okay.
So, um,
Um, well, then, now that you've said that, I've covered up the screen. All right. So then, let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary for the week in gaming with gamer Edie and Nick DeNicola. And I'm sorry we don't have the new sounder audio. I really wish that I could get the audio to go back into the YouTube, but one of these days I'll figure that out. So, what's you have anything Nick, I got a couple of
News?
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple ones. Let's start something simple. The free PS Plus games for February. There's actually going to be three of them. There's Bioshock the Collection, which is pretty good. That's just Bioshock and Bioshock 2 though, not Infinite. Um, but Bioshock and
Uh-huh.
Bioshock 2, I think they hold up pretty well. And you know what? Bioshock 2 could be better than the first one.
Yeah.
That seems to be an unpopular opinion, but I really liked that game. Then the other free ones are The Sims 4 and Firewall Zero Hour.
Eh,
I would be really interesting in playing The Sims 4, but also Firewall looks like it's only a PSVR game.
okay. And the games with gold for February for Xbox are the TT Isle of Man, the racer, Call of Cthulhu, the adventure game, and
Hmm.
Fable Heroes, or as I call it, Fable Babies, and the 2004 classic Star Wars Battlefront, the original Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's actually not a bad lineup for free games. Their Xbox is definitely doing better at it than they used to be. It used to be they would give you like they'd haul out something that nobody played and nobody wanted, and now they're actually getting some pretty good games.
Hmm? Well, actually, I should do this. Speaking of games no one wanted, uh,
Okay.
Stadia was offering two free games for each service. One of them was the exclusive Guilt, GYLT.
Uh huh.
Um, what was the other one? I'm trying to find the other one. I just saw what this was. Um, and Metro Exodus.
Uh huh.
Uh, but even though they're offering those two free games, I saw this report that no new games have been added to Stadia for 40 days. So since it launched, there have been really no new games added to the service. Google is still saying that there will be like 120 coming this year, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't mentioned any of what they are. So it's one of those weird moments where if they're going to keep offering this free service, they kind of have a very narrow selection of games to choose from,
Right.
to the point where if you buy a game on Stadia, there's actually a significant chance that it would then become free within a couple months. So, do you really want to spend any money to buy a game on Stadia? Like, if you have that service, it's probably good not to buy something on it just because there's a solid chance that it will be free in a month. Because
Right.
there's only 40 games to choose from, and they've already given out, like, I think 6? Because it's been out for a couple months.
Yeah.
So, you know, that list is narrowing every month. Eventually,
Yeah.
it might get to the point where every game on that service has been free for people if they don't add stuff soon.
All right. So let's see. My next item is let's see. Gosh, a couple of my things. Most of my things are kind of are a little bit on the light side because I didn't have much time to look for new material for news, but um Techland, the producers of Dying Light,
Mm-hmm.
they've announced that all owners of Dying Light are now able to redeem a free copy of Dying Light Bad Blood on PC. And of course, I don't know if this was in response to, but it certainly happens right about the time that they made the announcement that Dying Light 2 had been delayed indefinitely. Um, and they put out a message that says, as a token of appreciation for our amazing community, we are pleased to offer a free copy of Dying Light Bad Blood to every survivor eager to expand their Dying Light experience. Now, to get this free copy, you need to head to the Dying Light Dockets site. And you either have to log in or register an account and then link to your Steam account, your PlayStation account, or your Xbox account if you haven't already. And once you've got that done, if you own a copy of Dying Light on the PC, a banner should appear on the website that says you're eligible for a free copy of Dying Light Bad Blood.
What was Bad Blood? Was that the
I
expansion?
would think it was an expansion.
Because I thought that that was called something else.
Uh, um, don't know. It I, I don't know if it was a standalone.
Oh yeah, the
Uh,
following was the expansion. The following was like the big,
right.
um, a significant like single player expansion
Yeah,
pack.
it essentially adds a battle royale to Dying
Okay,
Light.
okay, that's what it was. So it was like a multiplayer DLC.
Right, right.
Okay.
It didn't get a lot of attention when it was on early access back in 2018, but it got some. But now it should probably get more.
Yeah.
If you own Bad Blood and you've not been playing it because there haven't been enough competitors, you're about to get a lot more competitors. So go pull it back up again. Um,
And also, the following was really good. Dying Light in general was just very good.
yeah, we got Frederick Jackson in the chat room says, great to see you, Edie. We met years ago at Best Buy in Pinole. Oh my God. Yes, I remember you. And I actually flipped you a card and it was like, oh, yeah, I got a gaming podcast. Check it out. That was a long time ago, dude. But I do remember. I can't remember what I was buying, though. Eh. Okay, so you got something?
Yeah. This is coming from a Resident Evil fan site called Biohazard Cast,
Uh
and
huh.
it was confirmed. Well, not confirmed, but there's an article on Eurogamer where they mention that they have heard independently that these leaks are true about Resident Evil 8, keeping with the first person perspective from Resident Evil 7. Because 7 came out with the first person perspective, which was radically different from the, you know, over the shoulder third person that the games had been previously. Then the Resident Evil 2 remake comes out that goes back to that over the shoulder third person camera. Um, but it seems like going forward, the remakes of these old games, like the Resident Evil 3 remake, will keep that over the shoulder camera, but the mainline numbered series will stick with the first person,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm actually really, really excited for because I thought that 7 took that whole franchise in a really neat new direction that kind of really changed up what it was doing, but kept enough of the old DNA that it still felt like Resident Evil. But yeah, I'm happy to see that that main series is kind of still experimenting with itself, and it's not doesn't seem like it's getting into a rut or just retreating back into what was popular. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm glad to see. The league also mentioned werewolves, like so. I'm really curious to see what the fuck this new game is going on
Yeah.
about.
So, in honor of Frederick Jackson joining us, my next item is going to be about deals at Best Buy. Best Buy has some gaming and 4K TV deals coming up. Uh, there's a Sony 65-inch 4K TV that's normally $1,500. It's 1,000, which is a good savings. But when it comes down to actual gaming stuff, they have the Idel 17.3-inch gaming laptop for $1,100, $1,150, which is normally $1,500, which is significant. And man, I gotta say, now that I have been playing games on a laptop, it's really nice to have a gaming laptop. Mine is not necessarily a gaming laptop, and playing Anno 1800, it definitely heats up. Let's just say
Hmm.
I'm nice. My fingers are nice and toasty because the vents on the side are keeping them warm. But Really good gaming deal is the Xbox One X with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Deluxe Edition. Normally $500 is $350, which is a really good deal for an Xbox One X. Um, Keeping in mind that you're gonna be getting another console in December, but it's still a good one.
Well, maybe. Did we talk about Microsoft's like backwards compatibility plans?
A little bit.
Um,
Before we go into that, I do want to add
okay,
one other
yeah,
thing
okay.
that is on sale that is sort of gaming related, but it's not, but it is. Because I have used it in gaming, but they are superb. Is they have the Boys wireless active noise canceling headphones in rose gold, normally 350, which is what I paid for mine, which are right there, and I love those things. I live I've put them on you when we were on planes together, the ones that you turn on the noise canceling and all of a sudden all the plane noise disappears. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally $350, on sale for $265, which is a great deal. And they rarely go on sale. Because remember, I wanted a set of those for like 4 years and watched them carefully, and they really didn't go on sale all that often. So if you are interested, especially if you are a traveler, but even if you're just a gamer and you just want to, or you live in a house where you kind of want some private time, maybe this might be a family gamers thing you might be interested in, when the kids are just too damn loud, but you got them in the other room and you just need to make the world go away. The Bose wireless noise canceling headphones are so good. Can't recommend them enough. And if you hit those now at GameStop or at the Best Buy, you will definitely have a much better time. Let me pull up this screen. Those are the ones right there. Right up there with my bidet toilet seat and my countertop dishwasher. That's the third thing in my life that will go onto the island with me. That headset right there. No, is that it? No. Right there. Those. Get those. All right. So
I think you need a counter too. If you're gonna have
well,
a
I mean,
countertop
a
dishwasher,
countertop dishwasher
you
and the
need a
bidet
counter
toilet seat.
to go.
All of them require electricity. So my island
You also need a
is going to
toilet.
have electricity.
You also need a toilet. You can't
And a
just bring
toilet.
the bidet toilet seat.
Oh, you can still bring the bidet toilet seat. If you have piped water and electricity, just the bidet. I mean, I would put that on the
I don't think
ground
you'll
and
have
use
piped
it.
water and electricity on an island though. I think the logistics of your island
My
items.
island has piped water and electricity because all three of those things require electricity. I mean, when everybody talks about what's the record that you would have with you, what album would you have with you on an island? I'm like, well, if you don't have electricity, you're not playing it anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
that we assume that island is there.
Anyways, the Xbox thing I was talking about is that Microsoft said that for the first couple years of its life, all of their first party games for the Series X will be playable on other Xboxes.
Which game is
So,
this?
no, just in general.
Oh.
When the Series X comes out, it won't have any first party games exclusive to that console. All of the games that Microsoft puts out in the first couple years will be playable on the Xbox One X, Xbox One S, and Xbox One. So like that whole family of consoles will be able to play Microsoft first party games. So it's kind of like developing for a PC where you'll have the Series X, which will be like a high-end PC. But if I just go out and buy an Xbox One S or an Xbox One Xbox One S, I will still be able to play Halo Infinite when it comes out. It won't look as good as it will on the Series X, but I'll still be able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
which is a difference from like what Sony is doing, where when the PlayStation 5 comes out, I'm sure Sony will put out a game that I will only be able to play on PlayStation 5.
That's
And
kind of
Microsoft
cool.
is not doing that. So, if if you can find like a cheap Xbox, now might actually be a good time to pick it up because you will
Yeah.
still be able to play some of those future Xbox exclusives.
Well, it makes me question of if you've got a really like the Xbox Pro, the whatever their Pro
Yeah, the
series
One
of
X.
this generation, the Xbox One X,
Mhm.
this generation, and the new games will be playable on the old consoles. What is it about the Xbox Series X console that makes me want to buy it?
It'll look better, like anything else.
So
Better graphics, better processing,
it's really
just a
not a new
better console.
console then.
Yeah, it
Isn't it?
is. It's just
Then that makes that they're doing essentially it's just another update. It's not a whole new
kind of.
console.
We'll say it's a bigger update, but
Yeah.
it's a new console. Like if it's backwards
Well,
compatible, that's
it's like
still
iPhones. There are certain iPhones that were huge, huge differences, and there are other iPhones that are like, yeah, I'm not going to pick up that iPhone just yet because
yeah.
it's just not a big enough difference between what I have
I would
and the
say
new
the
one.
the leap from Xbox One to Xbox One X is smaller than Xbox One X to Series X.
Right.
The Series X is a big leap forward. So, you would be getting a much better experience of the game, but I think it's an interesting route to take because it shows Microsoft is more interested in the services aspect,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
They want you subscribed to Live in all of its forms.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you play your games.
And
They
Game
will
Pass
happily
and
they will
everything
happily
else.
sell you the game anywhere as long as you subscribe to its stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass, yeah, Xbox Live, all that. That's what they want you to do.
Right.
They
Um.
actually want to be the Netflix of games, actually, with like Game Pass and Live. Anyways,
Amazon Prime's free game,
oh,
since we were talking about free games and it
wait.
is about to turn over in February.
Since when did Amazon Prime offer free games?
They have been doing that. I think for a little bit.
On what service?
Uh, through Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
This is okay.
it's Amazon/Twitch Prime.
But also, wait,
Um,
do they give you like Steam codes or something?
yeah, they give 10 free PC games for members in January as a holiday bonus. That's what they did in
Okay,
January. In
but like, what
February,
service do you play it on? Epic, Steam, Uplay, GOG?
I don't know. I've never done it because I've never really been a PC
Huh.
gamer up until just recently.
Okay, but this is like
Uh,
the Twitch free games, I guess, supplied by Amazon.
right,
They've got
exactly.
that connection.
So next free games include American Fugitive, which is a top-down GTA inspired action game. Desert Child, a hoverbike racing RPG.
Hmm.
Narcos: Rise of the Cartels, which is the turn-based strategy game. Steridon, a chaotic space shooter. White Knight, a survival horror puzzle
I
game.
played that one. That was
Mm-hmm.
okay. That was neat.
Yep. And a bunch of loot, including a bunch of drops for Destiny 2, which includes exotic weapons, ghosts, ships, sparrows, emotes, and weapons ornaments from previous seasons. And they're going to be available starting January 29th, today, for PC, Xbox One, and Stadia.
They actually offer it for Stadia.
Yep.
It's impressive.
So yeah, that's what's available from
Okay.
Twitch/Amazon Prime. Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime.
I have something. This information comes from Sensor Tower store intelligence data. So it seems like Sensor Tower is a website, and their store intelligence data. They monitor spending on app stores like
Mm-hmm.
the iPhone Store and Google Play. So they say that Nintendo's mobile games have passed $1 billion in lifetime revenue.
Who has?
Nintendo's mobile games.
Wow.
So specifically, that's just 6 games. That's Dr. Mario World, Super Mario Run, Mario Kart Tour, Dragalia Lost, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and Fire Emblem Heroes.
Wow.
So together, the 6 games have generated almost have passed $1 billion. But what's interesting is that of that billion, about 660 million comes from Fire Emblem alone.
Really?
So Fire Emblem has about 660 million with it. Next is Animal Crossing, which has about 130 million. Then Dragalia Lost, which about 120 million. Then Mario Kart with about 80. Mario Run has about 80. And Dr. Mario is like 5. So they have a
So
graph.
the vast majority of
The
it, I mean, more
vast,
than
vast.
half of it is Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Fire Emblem makes more than all those others combined.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I did not think that the Fire Emblem game was that popular. I thought that it had a big launch and then kind of trailed off. But I guess that was just my experience with it, because like any of those gotcha games, it's like, oh, you get a lot of players, but then eventually it's like, well, the grind to get new characters is kind of hard, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just play something else. But apparently other people stuck with it.
Yeah. My next item is
Oh,
let's see. Oh,
AC Wraith has an interesting one.
oh, let's see where. Which one?
A woman, someone suing Riot Games might deserve 400 million instead of 10 million.
Could you look that up for me while I do the next item?
Yeah,
That
because
is
I remember they settled
very
for 10 million.
interesting. Yeah, no, they settled, and it ended up being like 10 million each, depending on
No,
time
it's just
and
10 million total.
oh, was it? That's right. It was 10 million.
Yeah.
That's right. And so, and there was something like 30 women. I can't remember the amount, but and then of course you have to worry about lawyer fees. Look that up for me while I do the next story. And then keep your ears on what I'm about to say, because this one you're gonna freaking love. So Atari is dead as a company. It has been for a while, and has been but the trademark has been sold and bought a number of times in the last few years, and we've actually discussed this at length about what's going to happen to Atari, because there's money there. There's just not any gaming money there. Well, it looks like there is and there isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the weirdest idea that you could think to brand Atari for? Nick, think about the weirdest possible thing that you could brand for Atari that just might be interesting.
Sex toys.
Close. Atari?
Gambling?
Closer. Way closer.
Horse racing?
Atari is working with a company called GSD Group to build a series of video game themed hotels. 6 of them are now currently slated, starting in Arizona. It's going to open up in Phoenix, according to GSD Group. And the plan is to pack it full of entertainment that is sort of tangentially related to Atari, but not, like in one way or another, related to Atari, and includes accommodations for hosting live esports events, which is a really good idea. If you had a hotel that was connected to an esports, like a stadium that was created specifically for esports, and the attached hotel, and it was all branded Atari. So they're also going to have a VR and AR installations inside. And GSD Group is a company that has done this kind of stuff in the past. They take legacy brands like Atari and they find new ways to leverage them to generate revenue. So they're kind of a pros at this. So it's not, even though it sounds like a complete what the blank moment, it's still entirely possible that this could be happening for realsies. An Atari hotel in Phoenix. And the question is, Nick, would you go?
Yeah, I mean, depends how much it is.
I would totally go, even if it was expensive. I would totally go just to see what it's like. I would go once. I don't know that I would ever go back again. And that may be the problem with that hotel is that you're going to get a lot of people who are just freaking curious about it and then they'll go away. Kind of like that's how Vegas is, that everybody wants to go to Bellagio. And when it first opens for that first couple of years, it's like everybody wants to stay there because they want to see it. And then once they've seen it, they don't come back unless they're into gambling. And that's the thing is that I don't know. Gambling is a huge return business. There is a money-making generator at the base of that, and the hotel augments it. I don't know that esports is necessarily a money-making venture in the same way that gambling is. Like the esports have to pay for the hotel. The hotel can't pay for the esports because once you've stayed there once, then you're just competing with every other hotel in the area. Once the curiosity is rolled off of it. So, yeah, Atari Hotels coming to a Phoenix near you. You got anything? Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, November 2018, two women sued the League of Legends developer, Riot, for violations of California Equal Pay Act and said that they were routinely subjected to sexual harassment and gender discrimination. And I'm getting this from the LA Times that AC Wraith linked us to. So then in December, the lawyers for the women and the studio reached a preliminary settlement for $10 million.
Right. And we thought it was dead from there.
Yes, and they are now waiting for the Los Angeles Superior Court to approve the settlement that they discussed in mediation. Now, two state agencies have weighed in. So first, the Department of Fair Employment and Housing said that the women should actually be entitled to about $400 million in potential back pay based on wage differences and everything else. And in the document, they definitely criticized the process that got to the settlement, saying that Riot's lawyers did not engage in any discovery to try to determine a fair dollar amount for the clients. So basically, the Riot didn't actually try to determine what would be a fair compensation. They were just like, 10 million.
Just give them some money.
Yeah, just literally just give them some money. 10 million's a lot. Let's just give them that.
Right. So and this does not surprise me from Riot. Just give them money and make them go away. Mouthy bitches.
And so they also said that several procedural mistakes were made along the way. And Riot has said that there has been no procedural mistakes. That they talked about how it's a fair number and all that. So they're basically denying it.
Right.
So that's one thing. There's not much. It seemed, based on this article, it seems like not much will come from that. The DFEH, Department of Fair Employment and Housing, can file like their can basically give their opinion on this, but it doesn't seem like they can actually stop it. But the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement, the other state department,
right,
is saying that they have the ability to intervene and actually stop this from happening, because what happened is there's a specific California law that says, and I'm going to take this directly from the article because
Okay.
it's
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 probably complicated.
it's well written.
Right.
So, employees and their lawyers are able to bring a suit against employers for violating labor law. So the women are able to bring a suit against their work for violating labor law.
Mm-hmm.
That actually steps on the toes of state agencies to bring the case. But there's a law, the 2004 Private Attorneys General Act, that allows them to do that. But as part of that, the employees and their lawyers have to inform the state agency that they are bringing the suit and offer the agency first dibs at pursuing the case itself.
Okay.
The DLSE is saying that the original notice for equal pay violations was misfiled and that the settlement clears Riot of any potential wrongdoing for unrelated violations over issues such as overtime and minimum wages. So basically, like, gives them a blanket covering.
Right.
And so they're saying because it was misfiled and all that, we can step in to do this. Like, we didn't get a fair shot at first dibs, so we want to get those first dibs, give them back to us.
Right. They didn't essentially Riot missed a
Well, what's
couple of
interesting is it
steps
seems
in
like
the settlement of the suit.
it seems like this actually wasn't Riot's doing, but the women's doing. Like, if they didn't properly notify the state, and so now the state is saying, like, you got a bad deal and you didn't properly tell us about that, so now we want to step in.
I mean, I hate to. No, I don't. I don't hate to pile on the Riot hate, but considering what came out with the was it Kotaku?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kotaku article, the in-depth. If you read that article, you can. I mean, in its entirety, you cannot support Riot Games. So I couldn't be happier that there is somebody from the government, and I always thought $10 million is chomp change for what they did to those women. Absolute, and worse yet, $10 million is shut up, go away, and we're going to keep doing what we normally do. That's exactly how that came out. So I'm so glad that somebody is stepping in going, wait. We're going to make this way worse for you. Oh, Nick, you've lost me? Uh-oh. Looks like Nick has frozen. Yeah. All right. He's coming back in a second. So yeah, it just seems that this was a make it go away, make those girls stop talking to us. We've got our boys club and we're just going to continue business as usual as we always have. And I'm so glad that someone is stepping in. And let's see. Oh, AC Wraith mentions about the Atari hotels. He says, I want wood paneling in the rooms. Yes! See? Now that, but the problem is, oh, sorry about that time of day when the light comes in, the window above my desk. See, that is exactly the kind of thing that I would freaking love to have. Is that would be an 80s themed hotel. How awesome would that be? And we're back. Are you back, Nick?
You got me back? I'm back?
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Yeah, an 80s AC Ray says, I want wood paneling in all the rooms of the Atari hotel.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, I had couple more points on the Riot story.
Okay.
So on January 31st, so in just a couple days, a court will decide whether the DLSE has the right to intervene.
Right.
And that will allow the agency to engage in its own discovery and litigation against Riot for the labor code violations.
Right.
So basically, that state agency is going to get the power to like do their own investigation regardless of anything Riot wants.
Mm-hmm.
On February 3rd, a judge will decide whether to heed the objections of the first agency and reject the proposal for the $10 million settlement. So, of these two cases, the second one will be decided first, and the first one will be decided second. So, in a couple days, we'll find out if the state agency gets to investigate Riot on their own, and in early
Oh,
February, we'll get to decide if the 10 million lawsuit is even fair. So,
yeah.
even if the court decides that the state doesn't get to run its own investigation, they could still throw out the 10 million settlement and higher
Make them
number.
make them go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just saying. I don't know
or vice
when
versa.
you dropped out that $10 million seemed like
Low.
yeah,
Yeah.
considering what they had, what the Kotaku article had brought forth of what was happening at Riot, and that it smacked of take the money, go away, let us keep doing what we've always done. Like when
Hmm.
you offer $10 million to make lawsuits go away, you're not saying, hey, we're going to change our practices. You're saying, we want you to go away so that we can continue to do our practices. It's a
And that
Harvey
was one of the
Weinstein payoff. It's
and that
like
was actually
I'm
one of
still gonna harass you, but I'm
that was
just,
actually one of the points in the first agency's like dissension and opinion of it is that like not only is it a low monetary payout, but as part of the settlement, like there are no enforceable changes to the company.
mm-mm,
Like they're not really
no.
saying we're going to do anything.
No, we're just going to keep doing business as normal, as usual, and just tack this money onto the cost of doing business. Because when
Mm.
you're making the kind of money that Riot is for League of Legends, $10 million is that's a night out. Make it go away. So, my next item is very good news.
Okay.
The remember, like we've got the Trump tariffs going on.
Hmm.
There was there was major concern that if these tariffs remained in effect, that the cost of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One X were going to go way up because electronics are on the list. Um,
Hmm.
and that it was going to add a significant cost to these consoles, which would very, very much hurt sales. Because, especially with Xbox, that if everything is, I don't call it backwards compatible, but old console compatible. If new games were older console compatible, then it would be it's less of a reason to upgrade to the new Series X. Um, well, good news. And I'm typing, and I've got to learn how to do that at the same time. A tariff agreement has been reached. Trump's
Hasn't it
tariffs.
been reached like 3 times before?
Yeah, and it keeps changing, but according to the ESA, it is very encouraged by the news. The U.S. and China have agreed to terms
Of
on a
course, they'll
new
say
trade
that.
agreement. Well, they have been working. The Trump administration has been working very, very actively with China about the tariffs, and there has been talk about the tariffs being a new agreement being reached for a couple of weeks now. So it's not like an unheard of thing. Um, and as part of those talks, the U.S. and China have agreed to terms on a new trade agreement that looks like it's going to prevent PlayStation 5 and Series X, the Xbox Series X, from becoming more expensive because of this. The both. Oh, did I lose you again?
Nope, I'm
Okay.
here. I did
The
go, but I'm back.
Okay, thank God. Uh, China and the U.S. have signed what's called the Phase 1 agreement, which was earlier this month. And that means that the Trump's proposed 25% tax on electronics made in China and shipped to the US is not going to go forward. Huge news for Xbox or for Microsoft and Sony, because it not only affected the that light. It not only affected that Xbox and PlayStation, it affected everything. All their computers, all their televisions, all their DVD players, everything was going to get Trump taxed 25%, which is no small amount. So,
I'm not going to hold my breath.
well, the fact that they've signed the Phase 1 is a very hopeful sign. That is bodes that it's more than just talk. It's
Really?
It says that they're definitely on the path to getting this sorted out. ESA has said, quote, "We are encouraged that the administration suspended the implementation of tariffs on video game consoles," because it has suspended it officially. You could unsuspend it at any time, but the fact that they're talking and looks like they're getting closer to an official agreement bodes well. These tariffs would have had significant implications for our industry, which boasts a trade surplus for the American economy. Tariffs will erode innovation, decrease job opportunities for American workers, and increase prices for consumers. And then when those tariffs were proposed, there's not a lot of things in the world that will unify Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo all together. But these tariffs definitely did. It was definitely the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of moment. They all released a joint statement opposing these tariffs back when a couple of months ago. The 25% price increase in consoles to match the tariff cost would, quote, according to that statement, likely put a new video game console out of reach for many American families who we expect to be in the market for a console this holiday season. And Nintendo was even preparing for the tariffs by moving their manufacturing out of China, which was kind of huge and not cheap. So it's a big deal that if these tariffs don't go through. So breathe a sigh of relief. It looks like we may not see these tariffs. Currently, it's suspended. It may stay suspended through December, which was when the new consoles come out, and then get unsuspended. If that's the case, I'll go up, but hopefully cross your fingers that there will be a deal sometime soon.
That's the thing. Just cross the fingers and hope.
Cross your fingers and hope, but looks good.
There's nothing assured about this.
There's nothing assured because, yeah, trade talks can always break down, but right now it's not looking like that's the case. It's looking pretty hopeful.
Okay.
All right, next item.
That was all I had.
All right, then I have one more thing. I'm tired of typing, of writing, and speaking at the same time.
It's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head.
It's a little bit like that. I know that I do, and considering that it affects the audio stream, the actual podcast part, I feel bad, like just babbling, going as I'm trying to do two things at once, but. A 28-year-old California man, who went on a shoplifting spree in Southern California, in Los Angeles and Orange County last year, got sentenced on January 27th to 10 years in prison. Not shoplifting, armed robberies. He committed armed robberies.
Okay, that's a little different.
Of 4 separate GameStop stores in Los Angeles and Orange County.
gonna say that you must have shoplifted a fuck ton of
Yeah,
stuff to get
well,
10
as it
years.
was, he got
Okay, armed robbery.
$132,000 of merchandise and cash from these stores, from these 4 robberies. He
In cash?
in cash and merchandise,
Oh, okay.
which is called merchandise being consoles. $131,000 of it was merchandise.
Huh. Oh,
$1,000 was cash.
and was it specifically from GameStops? Because that makes a lot of sense.
4 GameStops.
Just take a bunch of consoles, games, and just like, oh, fuck it, $1,000 in
Absolutely.
cash from all
Yeah,
that. But wait,
$1,300 in cash,
how do you
$131,000 in merchandise.
how do you carry that much? If it's an armed robbery, how do you like even if we divide that by 4, what's 130 divided by 4?
It was how did he carry that much? Here's how he
130 divided
carried.
by 4, that's $32,000 worth of stuff per robbery.
Right, right. Oh,
How do you carry $32,000 worth of stuff out of a GameStop?
during the West Covina, California robbery in October 2018, Lopez took employee cell phones and destroyed the store's phone. He also ordered an employee to help load stolen goods into his minivan.
Okay.
So he
Okay.
essentially walked in, put a gun to people's heads, wrecked their phones, and then made them load all of the consoles and all the games into his minivan and drove away. Um,
That would do it.
right, right.
Excuse me.
Um, the U.S. Attorney's Office didn't provide a list of items stolen, but he had to have stolen hundreds of consoles, according to the.
Well, even then, like even if he just got a bunch of new games,
Mhm,
those still add up, $60 a pop.
right.
A
Um,
number the number of games that would take up the same space as a console would
right.
probably come out to more than a console.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
and the I forgot what I was going to say. Um,
Hmm.
there was one more other item, but I got distracted by that.
So,
Apparently he would sell these items at garage or on Craigslist and on eBay and a bunch of other, like flea markets and shit like
mhm.
that out of the back of his van. And at least 4 people have been identified as purchasing some of the stolen consoles from him.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a word to the wise. If you see somebody selling a console too cheap and it's brand new in box and never been opened, there's $131,000 worth of these consoles out there in this world. Be very careful because the attorney's office could come knocking, and that when you buy stuff that is you kind of suspect is stolen, and a lot of people would if it feels good enough. It's like, yeah, it's probably fell off the back of a truck. The thing is these things don't fall off the back of the truck. They usually happen when by either robbery or in some cases armed robbery, where people have been had guns put to their heads and are freaking traumatized for it. And you're just creating more of a market for this kind of trauma. Bad things have happened to people. It's not nameless, faceless corporations. There's actually people being hurt. So just remember, when you're buying a console for way too cheap a price and it stinks like it's probably stolen, there's probably pain behind that. Human suffering.
Say
Need
at
to take
least
that
at
into
least
account.
if it's cheap, like you can assume some things about that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're literally buying it out of the back of a guy's car that's filled with other gaming stuff,
Right. When he goes,
like if
what games do you want to go with it? It's like, yeah,
I've got this, if he's got a shop in the back of his car,
yeah.
that's probably a red flag.
So, see what the comments say. Yeah, and there we go. Down there we go. 10 years in federal prison for stealing from GameStop. Crime doesn't pay, kids. You can't do the time, don't do the crime. So, anything else that you have?
I just saw something. I'm trying to read it real quick.
Okay, you do that. And I will
It
talk
looks
about,
like
while you do that, I will talk about our Patreon. We have a Patreon, people. It is helpful because it helps fund the this show, the video feed of this show. It also helps to defer the other costs that I have to incur to do the rest of the show, the podcast, the website, which is necessary in order to feed stuff into iTunes and iHeartRadio. All that stuff costs a little bit of money, and you add up a little bit of money each step along the way, and then let's not forget, all the other stuff that I have to pay for in order for the podcast to happen. A little bit of money each step along in every step of this adds up to be a significant amount. And in February, we will hit our 12th year. After 12 years of it, the money is starting to add up. So if you've been a fan of GameHounds for the last, there's certainly a lot of people still listening that were, listen to us back when it was Cooper Hawks when we first started. There are a ton of legacy listeners. All we ask is $1 for 12 years of the past and going on to the next 12 years of GameHounds. And our Patreon is patreon.com/GameHounds. We would love to have you just pop us a buck. We appreciate absolutely everything that you guys. There's a number of listeners, and of course we have Terry Sweeten, who is one of our major contributors. Thank you very much again for doing that. And if you become a contributor of more than just a couple of dollars, you will get mentioned on the show, and we would love to have you do that. But yeah, if you think about dollar cost averaging over the last 12 years, and then dollar cost averaging with next 12 years, because we're not going away, makes a big difference. And it's not really very much. $1 is all we ask, but if you could do more, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Help support us. Patreon.com/GameHounds. So did you read that?
yeah. So Rockstar is doing gangbusters still. Um, they put out on their blog. They sort of had a year-end wrap-up, and apparently GTA Online, in December, had its largest month ever in terms of player numbers. So Grand Theft Auto Online in December of 2019 was bigger than it had ever been in terms of player numbers. And I guess this is more of an abstract metric that they were talking about, but December, like the week of from December 30th to January 5th, was the biggest week ever for views on YouTube for GTA 5 content, and like
Don't understand. I don't understand this.
so they put out two big updates
Yeah.
last year: the Diamond Casino and Resort, and
Right.
then the Diamond Casino Heist.
Right.
So they're putting out content,
But I
and
still
yeah,
don't
it is
understand.
still it's only growing. Like, it has not yet seemed to have hit its peak.
And
And
there
and
are
so they went.
more and more and more rumors about GTA, Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, as long as GTA Online and 5 keeps growing, they're just gonna keep working on 6 because they have no reason to put it out.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's true.
I
They
would
would be killing GTA Online in order to do that,
I mean
unless
I'm
they
sure
found a way to
I'm
migrate it to GTA 6.
I'm sure I'm sure they would have to find a way. There's no way they would kill that golden goose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I with the GTA 5 online that popular, I would not expect 6 like anytime within the next reasonable period of time.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, they were talking about how in January too, Red Dead Online reached a new peak in player numbers.
Really?
So yeah, so
I know
they
a lot of people that play Red Dead really, really. I mean, Creation Chaos, who's I think maybe still listening. still plays that game. I went into it. It seems like it's much more fleshed out than it was. Kind of like GTA, it creates the sandbox and then
Yes.
slowly starts to populate it with things to do.
And so they mentioned too that one of the things they put out is the Frontier Pursuits expansion that added a bunch of like job roles that players could work through at the same time.
Right.
So instead of like being locked into something, they could progress in all of them
Yep.
at the same time.
It,
And yeah,
yeah, and I could see the allure, but I mean, I played GTA. Sorry, Red Dead Online a couple of weeks ago. It was like, all right, I'm kind of interested and curious on it, and then a griefer came in and just kept killing me repeatedly. Level 100 plus, and I'm like a level like 15. Just kept repeating killing me, and it's like, not my thing. I not that interested in just because unless you're playing with people on a regular basis, you really can't do anything. And GTA is another classic case of that, where you just can't see the fun of starting out. It's like if you were playing and you got this super high level character and you got lots of friends and you got a posse and that you play with all the time, then you're fine. But if you're just starting, it's like you're not going to gain more people unless I'm missing something.
maybe because they are gaining people. So
I don't get it. I'm gonna stay with
yeah.
Anno 1800, and that. I mean, as it is, at least it's just the AI that's getting me into fights. Fucking
Just the AI that's killing you.
Willie Wibblestock. I will never freaking. It's one of the guys. Willie Wibblestock gets me
Fucking
into an alliance
Wibblestock.
and then starts a war with Beryl O'Meara.
What the fuck are these? Are these countries?
No, these are people.
I
these are
I thought
rulers of other kingdoms.
okay.
Be-
Willie Wibblestock? Is that really his
Willie
name?
Wibblestock is one of the guys,
And what's the other guy's name? Beryl
Woman, Beryl O'Meara. She's Irish.
Beryl
Beryl
O'Meara.
O'Meara.
Beryl, like
B
of a gun. A thing that you put.
Beryl. Beryl.
Oh, B. Okay, that's still like I'm thinking a big jug of like
No, yeah, but when if you shoot
Beryl
down one of her
O'Meara.
ships, and you will get a barrel's barrel.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Beryl O'Meara. And Willie Wibblestock.
Okay.
Willie Wibblestock, fucking little slimy fucker.
He sounds like a slimy dude.
He is. He's
sounds
a slimy
like he sounds like a guy who's going to try to like sell you something in the alley of a parking lot of a hotel in Reno.
Yeah. Yeah, Willie Wibblestock.
Willie Wibblestock.
And
That's the guy that's in debt to like 8 different loan sharks.
No, he's actually doing fine. And he offers you an alliance. And then you're going along, and all of a sudden, then he pops up. He goes, "You gotta help me! I started a war."
Of course you did, Wibblestock.
Of course you did, and you started it with a barrel who can like literally squish both of us like bugs. And then it's like, truce has been signed between Beryl and Willie, but not with you.
I know if you ever see Uncut Gems, the movie with Adam Sandler, it came out recently. When I hear the name Willie Wibblestock, all I think of is him. All I think of is that guy.
Yeah, I can see
So if you ever see that movie, just think. You have to let me know if that's Willie Wibblestock, because all I can think of is that guy.
I will do that. And I guess as a final item, by the way, I should get rid of that banner. As a final item, a little bit of a spoiler alert for 13 Reasons Why.
Oh yeah, I got you. I never responded to your text.
Yeah, 13 Reasons Why.
Season 3.
Season
spoiler.
3. I was getting near the end. I was like 4 or 5 episodes from the end, and I was really enjoying the season. And then you said the ending is kind of wimps out. Yeah, you're right. It feels like it was forced to go 13 episodes, and the end was such a Deus Ex Machina that where something happens at the end which conveniently makes everything go away.
Yeah.
And considering that they had so much time that they needed to fill and they didn't fill it with that thing explaining it, it's just all of a sudden it's like, oh, this happened.
It's like
And conveniently enough, everything's
everything
sorted out.
bad gets blamed on one character, and then that one character conveniently dies.
Right.
And it's like,
Well,
oh,
no, that one character conveniently dies so that everybody else can blame him and end of series. And
yeah.
it's like, you don't even see it coming. It's not. Everything else has been so drawn out. And then to have this happen kind of off screen with no explanation, it just seemed like that didn't, yeah, that
Mhm.
end was not their
So okay,
strongest.
can I tell you what my theory was
All
at
right.
about the halfway point? And
Major spoiler,
no,
major spoiler alerts.
I'll talk freely about this because it doesn't happen.
Oh,
This was
okay.
my theory going in.
Yeah.
So the whole season is about the death of Bryce.
Right.
Like the first episode, they find his body, and the whole season is kind of investigating like all the kids around him and like who killed him. That's the big question of it.
Mm-hmm.
By the halfway point, you see that Bryce was trying to be a better person, right? He was trying
Yeah.
to make amends for us, and everyone was like, "No, fuck off, Bryce." Rightfully so.
Not everybody. Not everybody. That
Most people,
they
yeah.
were all kind of, there was a slow recognition even from Clay, his arch enemy, that maybe Bryce did feel sorry. And how do you make amends
Mhm.
for raping numbers of girls and causing one to commit suicide and essentially for being the douchebag that he was? When you're sorry, what do you do? How
Yeah.
can you ever achieve
And so
forgiveness? And how do you go on when you
that's an
recognize that
interesting
pain?
route to take. And what
Hmm.
I thought was going to happen is seeing him at his new school not being the top dog, but being the guy who gets bullied.
Yes.
I thought it was going to end with the twist that he killed himself. That basically
Yes, I did too. I
it
did too.
inverts it inverts everything from season one. Because the series, when it's at its best, is kind of about the ways that you unintentionally hurt people and can drive them into depressions to suicide.
Right.
And I thought it was potentially going a very interesting direction where this guy who's trying to make amends and who's then the top dog put down into the lowest position, kind of forced to confront what it actually is like to be oppressed and to be ignored and to be bullied, and
Hmm.
can't handle that and kills himself.
Right.
That would, like I said, invert the themes from the first season and kind of reflect on it in a different way.
When it first started, I thought that too, and it was only when they said he'd been beaten that's when I was like, okay, so that was the
I mean, you
my
could still.
initial like,
I
oh,
was
maybe he killed
I was
himself.
still like, oh, he got beaten, and eventually he's like, this is bullshit. I can't take this anymore.
Or
But
he kills
but
himself in such a way as to frame Clay.
yeah,
He
but
might have done that because he
I
that's
see. I didn't think. I thought
Bryce
that
was that big an asshole.
I was thought like, oh, they're building up to this, and it's going to be a neat inversion of the themes, and it's going to still explore the ideas of suicide and teen suicide and all that stuff. But no, he really was murdered by someone. And it's a cop out who did it. It's a cop out how they get away from it. And at the end, I was just like, okay, this went full melodrama, soap opera, telenovela direction,
Hmm.
that they are no longer even trying to adhere to the original
Yeah.
ideas that from that first season. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with it after this.
Yeah,
It
I'm not
it
done
totally
with
jumped the
it. I'm
shark.
curious to know what happens later because obviously there was something left up in the air. By the way, the person who does get blamed for it, um, there's some hanging chads. Let's just say there's
And
some threads that are for there's a little bit of
there's so many
foreboding.
other better things just on Netflix alone.
Yeah, but
Go watch The
I
Witcher instead.
no, don't watch The Witcher. It's terrible. Uh,
No, it's The Witcher's great.
no, it's not. The the I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but um my working theory up until about episode 8 or 9 was that Bryce's mom had killed him.
Or
When she
not Bryce's
realized
mom.
Bryce's
His
mom,
mom? His own mom.
his own
Oh,
mom,
okay.
because when you contrasted her father and her husband and all the men in her life being awful, awful, awful people, and then to realize that she had spawned the worst of them all, that she might have just said there's one with her father, like say her father dies, and it's like, and she realizes that Bryce is truly evil and there is no redemption for him, and he's going to start doing it again, and that she takes it upon herself to kill him to stop this evil. But she wants to frame everybody else that she's angry about because her life had been fairly comfortable up until that point. I thought maybe, because she was the one early on who starts saying names like, you need to look at Clay, and you need to look at this person, you need to look at that person, you need to look at that person.
Mhm.
And whenever you see somebody that's trying to divert people away, but Kevin nailed it. Kevin almost nailed
Yeah.
it. Kevin almost nailed it. He didn't
See,
pick the person who actually did the killing. He picked the person that facilitated the killing.
yeah, also that whole split of like, oh, who's actually involved, who actually, that's all bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
But even your theory, even that, I'm just like, this show's gone so off the rails.
Yeah, like it smacked of, remember the murder mystery we did at the Tiny Build games at PAX? Where they had
Yes.
the murder mystery where they're trying to figure out who killed the guy, and somebody had an argument and pushed him in the pool and other stuff. And
Yeah.
it turns out it was somebody else who had given him a shot of insulin, and or had fucked with the
Yeah, well, you've
insulin
got all
shot
these
that he'd
clues,
given
all these
himself
suspects,
beforehand.
and
So when he fell in the pool, that's how he died. Yeah, it's just like all these suspects where everybody has a motive and everybody has a possibility, but then there's this one thing that it's like, aha, and that is why
yeah.
the butler did it. That's what this
Yeah.
came out of.
Yes, it's very much that tradition of mystery of, oh, the butler did it.
Hmm.
That it didn't work.
The butler doesn't do it, by the way, in 13 Reasons Why. So it's
Yeah.
still, I think it's still a really, really good season up until about episode 10. And the end leaves a little to be desired. But it does explore some very interesting stuff about forgiveness. When you've done horribly wrong by someone else and you recognize that you've done this, you caused this pain, what do you do with that? How do you go on? Do you just live with it? Do you try to make amends? How can you possibly make amends? How can you possibly convince someone that you've changed or that you're sorry?
And
What
I
do
think
you do? And it's an interesting concept because
it is, and I think it tries to explore that, but it doesn't actually land on anything.
yeah,
You can't just show someone trying to earn your forgiveness and say, "Oh, we've explored this idea." You've got to actually explore it, and it doesn't do that.
I think it sort of does.
It makes
What doesn't get mentioned is Hannah. And it's like, I mean, other than kind of tangentially that Bryce is trying to make amends to Mrs. Baker,
mhm.
um, Hannah's mother, whose whole life has fucking imploded because her. Uh-oh.
I'm here.
All
What do
right,
you mean?
my video froze. Um,
Oh,
whose life has fucking imploded because of the death of her daughter, and it caused her marriage to break up, and they lost their business and everything else. They lost losing their home. They couldn't sell their home because there was a murder there, very widely announced, publicized murder. So they couldn't even sell their house well or at a right price, and all because Bryson decided to rape their daughter. So anyway, it has been a long show. We should go.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add before we close this out?
If you want a good mystery, a good the butler did it type of mystery, Knives Out.
Knives Out?
Knives Out is so fucking good. The Butler didn't do it. They don't even really have a Butler, but god damn, that movie's good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. So, on that note, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 530. We recorded this on Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website, and gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We do have a Patreon. We would love to have you help support this show. We don't ask for much, but every little bit helps and offset the costs of this show to continue for the next 12 years. That is patreon.com/gamehounds. We record this show live at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's Speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. We do that on audio. We also do it on YouTube under GameHounds Vids, VIDS, like videos, and also on Facebook. Our Facebook page is The GameHounds. I highly recommend that you follow that Facebook page, because not only you will get alerts that we're going live on Facebook to do the recording of the show, we have news throughout the week that is lovingly curated by our very own piss boy, Steve M. Hawk Ortegon. Thank you for doing that. And you can get more news than what we talk about and interesting stuff, game deals, shift codes, cool stuff like that. The GameHounds on Facebook. Everything we talked about on this show today and every day is linked in the comments of Spreaker, Facebook, and YouTube. That is lovingly done by our very own link bitch, AC Wraith. Thank you so much for doing that every single week. And we will talk to you next week. Hopefully Goalie will be feeling better by next week, but we'll see you later. Bye, everyone. And the podcast is ended. We're still on YouTube. All right, everyone on YouTube, thank you so much for everybody who joined that hadn't joined before. Frederick Jackson, Andrew Smith, Family Gamers Andrew Smith, not the Creation Chaos Andrew Smith. Creation Chaos in being in here. Bitters, how you doing, dude? Who else was in here that I saw? A couple of people. There was somebody else who had just who had joined us. That
Andrew.
Well, there was both Andrew Smiths, Creation Chaos,
Andrew,
Bitters,
Frederick, Bitters.
There was somebody else who came on, who doesn't normally get on that much because of internet at work. David Lloyd Johnson, thank you all for joining us in the Facebook and or YouTube chat. Come back next week if you're still listening. We would love to have you, or even if you just jump in and jump out. Love to have you back. Your comments and the snake pit. We miss the snake pit. It hasn't been very snaky lately. And feel free to comment on anything. Give us feedback and stuff. We're constantly riffing on you guys, and you keep us going. There's a reason why we've been doing this for 12 years, and it's you, all of you. So join us. Nick, I guess I will talk to you next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go play some Anno.
Of course you are. Jesus.
Gotta
Remember, there's no achievement for playing more than 12 hours.
No, there is no achievement for playing for 12 hours. But you know what?
You've got the antivirus.
It's the achievement in here.
Oh,
really
God.
Here. This is my achievement. That I have played 70 hours in 1 week.
Jesus. Oh, you know what you should do? There's like a PlayStation wrap-up thing where you can, if you log on to PSN online, you can kind of see like what your top played games are.
Oh, really? Where's that?
I'm just on PlayStation, like a PlayStation blog or something on PSN. Like if you Google it, like the PlayStation 2019 wrap-up, you should be able to find it. I'm curious what yours is, because mine said that I put 180 hours into Kingdom Come, and I'm like, is that true? It also says I put about 80 hours into Sekiro and Battlefield,
mm-hmm.
but that I can believe. Those are both like 80-hour plus games,
I
but
am logging in.
180 hours into Kingdom Come, I find that hard to believe. And I think when I save, that game shows my hour count. But I also know that I've died a couple times, and so that hour count doesn't count towards it. Because like if you play for an hour and then die, it's not going to record that hour in the save number. But I 180 hours. I can't believe I've played any game in the history of my life for 180 hours.
Okay, so I'm in.
Okay.
All right.
And if you haven't,
I haven't looked yet. I haven't
you
scrolled
played.
down.
I know, I see that, but you played more than me.
Oh yeah.
So if you have not put in more than 180 hours, I know there has to be something wrong with the count. Jesus. Okay, maybe it is accurate.
Yeah, that's about right. 300 hours in the Kingdom Come Deliverance. Yep. Thanks, Barbara. My top genre was RPG. 4 games, 575 hours. Oh my god. 892 hours in over 148 days.
Wow.
My longest gaming streak was 16 hours.
16 hours. Damn.
Saturday evenings.
Saturday evenings. Mine was Sunday evenings. Press me trophies. No platinums.
No platinums. I don't tend to platinum games.
Oh, you didn't get many free games.
No.
Your top online was, yep, Battlefield 5. Mine was 2.
And then, of course, there comes the
and that's kind of just the ad.
Yeah. So, yeah.
140 into Borderlands 3. I didn't know you played Borderlands 3 for that long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I played a lot of Borderlands 3.
I did not realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, okay, maybe that hour count is right then. Man. You put 300. I can't believe I played Kingdom Come for 180 hours. And I still haven't beaten it. I want to go.
Why don't you share your
back
screen?
to it.
I want to see yours.
It's not up. I don't have mine up. I looked the other day.
What do you mean? No. Why don't you show me your wrap up? If you do a screen share, do you use Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, do a screen share using Chrome tab. And tell it the tab that you sign into your account first. I need to walk. You've never shared on the screen share, I think, before. So you should be facile in this anyway. Or at least should know how to do it. All right, where you at?
Okay, so I'm here. I've got PlayStation 2019 wrap up.
Yep.
So how do I do this share? Does it show
at the bottom of the screen? It should say share screen.
Okay.
Then it'll bring up a window and you have a choice of like your screen or a Chrome tab. Chrome tab works best. So click on that tab for Chrome tab, and there should be tabs for everything you have open. Pick the Chrome tab that says PlayStation Wrap Up or whatever it comes up as. Getting there?
Yeah.
And it will show up on my screen, and then I can choose to share it.
Okay. Yeah, PlayStation 2019 wrap up. So it will share that even though I'm not actually on that tab?
Well, you have opened that tab, right? You have it open in the background. Yeah.
I'm just not looking at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I should probably make sure that I'm logged in first. Okay, yes. That way, I'm not
Yes.
trying to. That
That's
way,
what I
I'm
said.
not.
Log into your wrap up before you hit
Yeah,
share.
that way, I'm not. I'm not
Sharing your password.
logging in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you see it?
There it is. Yep, it's on there. Now, if you go to StreamYard, you can.
So
If
wait,
you
what
put them,
happens if I go to StreamYard? Oh, it's still there. Okay.
yeah, it's all still there. It's
Neat.
just in a different tab.
Okay. So yeah.
37 different games.
Yep. Kingdom Come. 138 hours
Yep.
and 86 in the Battlefield and 85 in the Sekiro. Because see, those seemed right.
Okay.
Top genre,
Action
action
adventure.
adventure.
So you were
Plucked in.
200 days. I was 148 days. So you played 50 more days, but I played 100, almost 100 more hours than you.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, look, my longest streak was 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yours
And
was
then
16.
here's compare and contrast.
Yeah.
I clocked in. Wow, what's going on my screen here? I clocked in 892 days of gameplay over 148 days. You did 795 over 200 days.
Yeah. And 400 trophies, 2 platinums.
And I had
I'm curious about what those.
174, and you had 408 and 9.
Yeah, I'm earning those trophies.
Yep, you know, way more than me. How many did you download?
I'm curious about what the 2 platinums I got were.
Yeah,
Oh, one.
you care about platinuming. I don't.
Yeah, one might have been God of. Well, maybe God of War and Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I platinum God of War. I don't remember what else. But okay.
So you
And so I didn't see this. Oh, did you
8?
see? Yeah, I downloaded 12 monthly games and I saved $84 through PS Plus offers.
I downloaded. I downloaded 8 games. You downloaded 12 games, and I didn't use any of my PS Plus dollars, which I should.
Oh, really? Well, no, that's just like money you saved through offers. Like if you buy a game and it's on sale,
Oh,
and sometimes it'll be like, hey, if you have PS Plus, you get additional sales.
yeah, I guess it didn't give me any additional sales.
I guess I just bought a lot of shit on sale.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How many games did you play? Because mine was 37 different games.
Oh, that's embarrassing. I
What'd
played
you
14.
play? I mean, that's what I play a bunch of short games and just like hop in, play them, beat them, and then go on to the next one.
That's interesting. So, if I
yeah.
change my screen, does that make it wider? Yeah, it does. Interesting.
Do more with PlayStation, and that's all just ads. Oh, yeah, and I guess if you scroll down all the way, you can get a icon. My title is Action Hero.
So is mine.
What was yours? Oh, okay. Yeah, if you hit redeem,
14
you can download
games,
like
892 hours. Yours was 27 games, 792
37.
hours. Or 37 games, 409 trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it can redeem prizes.
Yeah, you just get icons for your PSN account.
Okay.
Which is
free stuff.
Yeah. Coming to PlayStation, that's just that.
Yeah. So interesting. Thank you for elucidating me on that.
Yeah,
I get one game and I play it obsessively.
No, yeah, you do. Like it's an interesting look into our gaming habits because
how
my
different
tendency
our gamings are.
My tendency is to just move on. Like I just like to consume things and go on to the next one.
Yeah, and I get something and fucking obsess about it. I mean, shit.
Age of Conan.
Age of Conan. I'm sure that was on there. No, Age of Conan. Did I play that in?
Was that less?
Or did I play that in Microsoft and Xbox?
Oh, that might be Xbox.
I think it was Xbox. But yeah, and actually, I really didn't play. I played a lot of it, but I didn't play that much of it. But yeah, Kingdom Come was a classic game of me just losing my mind on it.
I see that. I see that. I was surprised
I want to
again.
play
Like,
7 more hours just so I can get 300 hours on it.
yeah, just to not go and leave it on. But yeah,
And I could play 7 more
I'm
hours on it. I didn't actually finish up the game.
I'm I keep wanting to go back to it. But yeah, it's 180 hours. I am surprised. I don't.
Hmm. Well, that game is a slow game. Everything's practically in real time when you're traveling.
Well, yeah, but I mean, also there's just a lot. There's a lot to do in it,
Hmm.
and like what surprised me is none of it felt boring or none of it felt stretched out. It was always like, yeah, yeah. I always felt engaged with it.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right. So, uh, I guess it's it.
Yep.
3 people were watching, still watching.
A gaming history.
Yeah.
I just had to check to see if that number was right. That's
Yeah.
what.
Hey, by the way, last thing is the 3 people who are watching right now, who are still online. Do you prefer when it's just 2 people to be in the close view or in the distant view, the full screen view, so that you can see my taxes behind me and my filthy dining room table and my
You can
dog
see
walking
my
by,
my pooper scooper.
pooper scooper and the cat in the background. Which do you
He's not
prefer?
even up there.
Of course, if you zoom over here, you can see all of our, bad skin and fucked up hair and shit.
My hair is perfect. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
well, you're a
My
guy
skin is glistening
and you're
like
Italian.
the sun.
Yeah, I'm Irish, dude. This is not good. So yeah, just shoot it out in the chat room. Which do you prefer? The close view, the screen field view, or the wide angle with the background? I think this just looks most with 2 people, it looks impersonal. I could see it. It makes sense if it was one person, like if Nick wasn't on the channel and I did, well, I can't do it that way. Yeah, no, it's all the
You're
same.
taking up.
Yeah, yeah.
If you split, you've just got black bars on the side.
Yeah. So, and that you're not removed from the stream there. It just focuses on you. But yeah, I think that I prefer looking at it like this.
AC,
It looks like much more like I'm talking to you guys as opposed
yeah.
to you looking at my
AC Wraith
house.
said he's like, I don't see the point of the cap in the background. Do you even sell the cap? We don't market it. We actually do have the.
Caps. Those were caps that the goalie made for Nick and me.
Yeah, we have them at
And
PAX.
I think I gave one to
Oh, who'd you give it to?
I gave it to M Hawk.
No, you gave it to some guy we were doing an interview with,
Did
like a
I?
Microsoft guy. Oh, it was a shirt. Maybe it was a shirt, but he was like, "Oh, that's a really cool shirt." I know it was like, it was actually like
When
a,
we first got them, because we had a few
yeah,
extras,
but
and
I know it was like,
Leah has one of the shirts.
it was
And
like a big name guy from like Microsoft or Sony, and he was just like, "This is a really cool shirt," and I happened to have an extra one in my backpack, and I was like, "Oh, I've got one right here. You can take it." And he's like, "Oh, thanks. This is great. This is cool."
I'm sure
I forget who
it's in
that
a trash
was.
pile somewhere.
Yeah,
um,
maybe. I don't. I've still got our shirts. I've got 2 of them. I got a blue collared one and a black T-shirt, and I've got both of them in the closet. I wear them sometimes to work just because they're
really?
good shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we should probably start making some merch. The problem is making merch is that you got to pay for the merch
Yeah.
unless you want to do like a cafe press. And
Well, it could
I
be
have
like an.
never been impressed with cafe press shit.
Can't you do something like the on-demand printing, where you only print when
Right.
someone orders
And
it? That way
that's
you're
cafe
not stuck
presses
with
stuff, the
extra.
on-demand printing. It is, but it's a
Okay.
way more expensive for the consumer, for the buyers, and B,
Mm.
I have never been impressed with the quality of the stuff that they put out.
No. Okay. Then we should just get boxes of hats and keep them in your garage. Ship them out to people.
The hats aren't cheap, and if you want to make a good quality product, those hats in particular are actually really good.
Yeah, they
Um,
are.
but they've got like the sports bill as opposed to the trucker bill, which is flat across, which a lot of places, a lot of people use. But I actually much prefer the scooped bills. Oh, that looks so weird over your headset.
Well, I can't put it all the way down because the fucking
Right, and we also have
headphones
GameHounds
are there.
jackets, which are very nice jackets.
Oh yeah, I've got that in the closet too.
Yeah, but we really probably should make some. I just don't know if people would buy them, and that's the problem. Is that I learned with my first T-shirt order that you pay a lot of money per item for a small batch, and then you sell them, and you sell like 2, and the rest of them get given away, and that's a big outlay for shirts and jackets and hats. So it doesn't make sense unless
It puts
you
into
have thousands
perspective.
of listeners when we have hundreds of listeners.
It puts into perspective, like when you go to PAX and they've just got fucking cases of T-shirts that they're just handing out to everyone that plays a game. You're like,
Right.
you spent a pretty penny on
Right.
this.
Even at their cheapest, they get down to like $5, which means that if you're adding up $5, it's like $100,000 in T-shirts.
Yeah, $5 times how many people are PAX?
30,000.
30. Even if just say 10,000 people play a game,
Mm-hmm.
10,000 times 5, it's $50,000 right there.
Right. And I wish I had $50,000 to
Yeah.
spend on T-shirts and hand it out to everybody, but I don't. So, but AC Wraith, if I can find another
I
cap,
tip my hat to you.
I will send you one because you are the link bitch. And as you have said,
Do I have another one?
I have always been here.
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple here.
How do you have a couple hats?
I got a blue one. I
Oh,
got
you've got one of the tan
another
ones.
blue one, and I got one of the rare tan ones. Ooh.
Oh.
Complete with tag still.
Oh wow, never been worn.
Magic headwear. This is a collector's item. This is a GameHounds collector's item right here.
All right. Well, then I will
Now I
give
really
you
look like
AC
an idiot.
Wraith's address, and you should send him a hat. Although you did get a very nice care package from us. That was not cheap. Remember we walked around Seattle
Oh God, yes.
sending out the care package from PAX. What a fucking nightmare that was. And it was not a cheap nightmare too. It cost me like $80 to mail that care package to you.
Why couldn't you just do it from the FedEx and the
PO box. It
Mm,
was a PO box.
that's right. The goddamn PO box.
So we had to
Yeah.
send it by mail, by US postage. And so we had to go to schlep in an Uber that huge box. Oh, and then they could have done USPS.
Yeah, but wasn't the
FedEx
box
Center.
an awkward size or something?
No, we bought the box from them. That wasn't a problem. It was their systems were down, remember?
Oh,
Their
right.
computer systems were down. I could only do it through a post office. So once we got the box, we had to schlep that box all the way down to the post office, which was miles away, and stand in line at the post office. A long line. AC Ray says, so you can send me the cap along with a haunting ground, Nick, right?
I still haven't checked to see if I actually have it. I suspect that I don't, but even if I did, you ain't getting your fucking hands on that, man.
He
That's
says,
my
I haven't
game.
touched my old console.
Hey, if the rumors are true and PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with every previous PlayStation, those games are going to become more important.
Maybe. No, see, that's the thing. You say you'd say you could have waited. You couldn't wait because neither one of us had space in our
luggage to take it back.
luggage
We
to
had
take it back.
we had to ship it to get rid of it because we couldn't take it back. That's
Right.
right. That's right.
We couldn't take it back. Not without, certainly without destroying some of the posters and other stuff. But yeah, it was, we had literally no space in our luggage. So we had to ship it. And it all started with a P.O. box and then just went worse from there. It's like, it's such a great idea until you say, hey, I'm going to do this. What's your address? Didn't click P.O. box. I saw it and it didn't actually click, and then went to the FedEx place, which is inside the convention center,
Why
to
doesn't
mail
FedEx
it.
ship the PO boxes?
FedEx won't ship P.O. boxes.
Why? Is that just them being a dick?
No, I think it has something to do with the post office boxes being owned by the postal service.
Oh, like they'd be stepping on the post office
Yeah,
toes?
yeah, exactly.
Jurisdiction?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. So anyway, lesson learned: don't take a P.O. box. I mean, it seemed like you chose next day shipping or something. It came really fast. We did not. We shipped it in the cheapest way possible. It was actually cheaper
Really?
than doing it regular mail by using it next day. No, it was next day. We had to use next day shipping because of the size of the box.
Mm.
You couldn't just use the regular parcel service. You had to do next day shipping. I went for the cheapest way that I could send it. And
So many technicalities.
Welcome to the mail service. It's more art than business. Yeah, shipping in general is an art form. It's so freaking complicated. Look up, there's a couple of like all things considered, not all things considered. There was a This American Life about shipping and how shipping is charged and why it isn't easy.
Yeah.
And it's complicated. So anyway,
Give me the
Nick.
good old days of the Pony Express.
Yeah, I practically could have driven it there for cheaper than what we spent. Actually, that's not true, but still, I'm glad you got it, and it was worth it.
Mhm.
As I said to Nick, it's a small price to pay for you doing all the links and doing everything that we could, and considering that you don't live on the West Coast, so that we could actually, take you to PAX or something. By the way, if you ever want to go to PAX as a member of the GameHounds, you let us know. Anyway, AC Wraith, you are the last person on the show, so I'm going to end this broadcast now. Everybody who's seeing this after the fact, see you later. Thanks, and talk to you next week. Bye. Bye, Nick.
Bye.